Hello everyone, welcome back to another lesson. I hope you are all doing fantastically and it's great to imagine all of your smiling faces out there. In this lesson, we're going to look at articles. So I know they can be confusing in English, especially for students who speak languages that don't use articles. So I will show you how to use a and the and no article. We're going to learn about the basic uses of articles and then some more specific uses of each article. And at the end, we will have some practice. You can try. So stay with me until the end. But firstly, let's have a quick look at the weak and strong forms of a and an, and when to use an, and of course of the. So a has two forms. Of course, I just said one, a, which is the weak form, the one that is usually used, and also a, the strong form. So a, we have a cat. She has a cat. Or a car. There is a car over there. Easy, right? Now, the strong form, though, is used to add emphasis, to make it stronger. For example, does she have a cat? So the weak form, a cat. She doesn't have a cat, she has 7. So we are emphasizing that, well, she does have cats, but not a cat, not one cat, she has 7. Now with an, so the weak and strong forms of an are used the same as a. So we have an apple, the weak form, an, and the strong form. An apple. So it's stressed, an apple. So do you have an apple? The weak form. An apple? I have a whole bag. So we're stressing an apple, not just one, we have a whole bag. Now, to make it clear when to use an, students can have problems with this sometimes. The important part is it's not how the word is written, it's the sound that is important. So an is used before a word with a vowel sound. So vowel sound. So a, e, I, o, a, e, I, o, u, those sounds. So of course, an apple, an elephant, an orange fish, but also an FM radio. So it's an F, but the sound is E. So we use an E, an F. Or an hour. Again, the spelling is with an H, but the sound is ow. Ow. An hour. So we use an. It's the vowel sound. That's important. And also the other way around, sometimes words are spelt with a vowel, but the sound is a consonant. So a consonant, B, C, D, F, G, H, da, 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 to Z. For example, we use a with a UN worker. So UN, it's spelt with a U, but the sound is y, y. It's a consonant sound. And the same, a UFO. Have you seen a UFO? But the sound is y, y, UFO. And a one-armed man. So again, one is spelt with a vowel, an O, but the sound is w, w, w. It's a W sound. So we use a or a one-armed man. Now with the, so the definite article, the, we have 3 sounds with this. We have 2 weak sounds, the and the strong sound, the. It's a little bit longer, the. So the weak sounds, the movie, the bike, the green tree. So those sounds are before a consonant. So remember, consonants are B, C, D, F, G, H, da, 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 to Z. Before a vowel sound, however, we use the ant, the umbrella, the enormous house. Now again, with the strong form of the, we want to emphasize. So we use it with things like famous people or something or someone that's really important. So I might say, you met Taylor Swift? The Taylor Swift? Wow. Okay, so she's a famous person. We are stressing the Taylor Swift. Or the local market is the place for fresh food. So it's an important place for fresh food. It's the place. Now let's look at the basic uses of a, an, the, or no article. At or an are used for singular countable nouns such as things, people, animals, etc. that have not been mentioned or are being mentioned for the first time in a sentence. I saw a dog this morning. She's a teacher at my school. Okay, so countable, singular, talking about it for the first time. Would you like a cup of coffee? The is used before nouns that have already been mentioned in the conversation or are easily known or understood. And we can use the with countable or uncountable nouns. I saw a few movies. The sci-fi one was really good. So the second time we're talking about the movies, the sci-fi one was really good. The winner of the race yesterday was Spanish. So here the winner is a specific person. So we can imagine the winner was number one. There's only one of them. And of course, the race. So we imagine the other person knows about the race. Did you have some of the pie? So there could be a wonderful pie sitting on the table. We can see it, we understand which pie, so we use the. We don't use an article when we are talking about an uncountable noun and a non-specific or general noun. I ate rice for lunch. So again, rice is an uncountable noun and we're talking generally. Do you usually drink wine with dinner? Again, wine is uncountable, so no article. And we're speaking generally. We also don't use an article when we are talking about countable nouns as general groups. Cats like to drink milk. So the group all cats. It's a general idea, the group of all cats. Ducks fly south in the winter. So all ducks. It's not true actually, but imagine. Also remember that often we don't use an article with countable nouns when there is more than one. For example, she has 3 ducks, or I saw 6 lions. Now, let's look at specific uses of at and an. They can be used with a member of a group or a profession, so like a job. Her mother is a doctor. He used to be a scout. So they are jobs or members of groups. My new computer is a Mac. Her jacket is a Chanel or a Chanel jacket. Again, they are members of groups, this time groups of things though, represented by a company. So they belong to a company. A or an can also be used to mean every or any. A koala is a cute animal, so a koala. So any koala from all koalas. A chocolate bar is sweet. So again, any or every chocolate bar is sweet. At or an can be used in front of multiple nouns to create one group. For example, she uses a brush and comb. Brush and comb become like one, they're one group. Take out a pen and paper. Okay, so again, one group. Pen and paper, it's one group. And at and an can also be used instead of numbers when there's only one. He won $1 million. So $1 million, $1 million. She reads 100 books every year. So again, 100, 100. It can be used instead of per when we talk about prices, quantities, and rates. So apples are $4 a kilo. So $4 a kilo, $4 per kilo. He can read 3 books a week. So again, per week, a week. Sound travels at 343 meters a second. So per second. The rate at which sound travels, the speed of sound. And at or an can also be used when we think a person is similar to another person, usually a famous person. For example, he's a young Roger Federer. So maybe he's a really good tennis player. So he's like Roger Federer. She's an Australian Oprah. So of course, Oprah is American. So she's like Oprah, but she's Australian. Now, at or an can also be used in formal, especially business situations, when you don't know the person. Usually when somebody calls or someone comes into the office, you might use it this way. There's a Mr. Brown on the phone. So we don't know, or the person who answered the phone doesn't know who Mr. Brown is. There's a Mr. Brown, any Mr. Brown. It's not a specific Mr. Brown. Do you know a Ms. Henderson? So maybe Ms. Henderson has come into the office or is calling on the phone. Do you know a Ms. Henderson? And a can also be used to talk about a specific day of the week. We went to the market on a Thursday. She had the meeting on a Monday. Now, let's look at the specific uses of the. The can be used to refer to somebody or something when there is one obvious or one normal one. For example, the Amazon is the largest river in the world. So the Amazon, there's only one Amazon, we can use the. We know which river you are talking about. I'm going to the supermarket. We can imagine that it's the normal supermarket you always go to. The one near your house maybe. It can be used to explain which specific thing or person you are referring to. The children in the park were very energetic. So the children, which children? The children in the park, they are specific children. And again, the park. Which park? It's a specific park. It's the red car. So again, which car? The red car. It's a specific car. He was the second person in line. So which person in line was he? The second. It's a specific person. So that was with specific things. Now it can also be used to talk about things in general. The elephant is a very large animal. Okay, so we're talking about elephants in general. She plays the guitar beautifully. So the guitar, she can play any guitar beautifully. I go for a walk in the morning. So most mornings, generally. The can also be used before a family name as a plural when you want to describe a family or a couple, for example. The Smiths are coming for dinner tomorrow. Did you know the Shangs are moving? So we use the family names as a plural with the S. And with measurements, that can be used to mean every. They get paid by the month. So they get paid every month. You get 5 apples to the kilo. So every kilo, you get 5 apples. The can also be used when you have enough or don't have enough of something. Let's see some examples. I didn't have the time to go shopping today. Okay, so I didn't have enough time to go shopping today. Do you have the money to buy a new car? So again, do you have enough money to buy a new car? We can use the. And finally, the can also mean the current or present with a unit of time. The soup of the day is chicken noodle. So of the day, of the present day, or the current day. He was player of the month. So of this month, or the current month, or the month we're talking about currently. Now, some extra uses of the. It can be used with countries that represent a region. For example, the United States. So it's a group of states. We also have the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, the Philippines. We use it with seas and oceans. So the Pacific Ocean, the Caspian Sea, Or deserts, the Sahara or the Sahara Desert, the Gobi Desert. And rivers, the Nile or the Nile River, or the River Nile. And the Murray or the Murray River, and the River Murray. It can also refer to specific areas of the world, for example, the Middle East or the North Pole or the Antarctic. But note we don't use this with place names. So, for example, the Southeast would be okay, but the Southeast Asia is not okay. So Asia is the place name, so we don't use the. Now let's look at some situations where we don't use an article. So we don't use a, an, or the. As we just saw, articles are not usually used with names, with proper nouns. So with names of people, places, companies, etc. There are some exceptions though. So we don't use articles with names of languages. So English is the most common second language. We don't use an article with English. We don't use the, we don't use a, we don't use an. Also, we don't use articles with names of nationalities. So people from a country. Indians make up about 1/6 of the world's population. So Indians, in this case, people from India. And again, we don't use an article. We also don't use articles with sports. Soccer is played in most countries. Again, not the soccer, not our soccer, soccer. Or subjects. My favorite subject was science. How about you? What was your favorite subject at school? As we talked about before, we don't use articles, so up, the, or an, with most named places. Of course, there are some exceptions we talked about before, but we don't use them with named places such as lakes, mountains, countries, continents, cities, streets, etc. Have you ever climbed Mount Fuji? So, named place. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa. I lived in Spain for a year. London is a huge city. The shop is on Madison Avenue. Toronto is in Ontario. So again, Toronto, city name. Ontario is a province name. So know that, know that. Finally, just to confuse you, sometimes using an article is okay. With some named places, you can use the or no article. And these are with towers and with bridges. For example, the Sydney Harbour Bridge or Sydney Harbour Bridge. Both are okay. The Brooklyn Bridge or Brooklyn Bridge. The Eiffel Tower or Eiffel Tower. But I think usually with this one we say the Eiffel Tower. And maybe the CN Tower or CN Tower. Now, as promised, here is a little quiz for you to check your understanding and hopefully give you more confidence about using a, an, the, or no article. So I'm going to give you a sentence without the article and write your answers below in the comments. You can press pause anytime to stop. So the first one we'll do together. Did you go to park this morning? So with this one, you could have, did you go to a park this morning? Would be fine. So which park? Any park. Or it could be, did you go to the park this morning? We both understand which park it was, or there's only one park near my house. Both answers are okay. So remember, for the other ones, there might be more than one answer that is correct. Now, for the following ones, please write your answers below. I studied Chinese for a year. We ate lunch at Amazing Cafe. I'm going to shop. Do you want anything? They said he saw tiger in their garden. Scary. She wants to study math at university. Pigs are intelligent animals. This one has two places, so pay attention. I went on cruise on Atlantic Ocean. What do you think? Right below. That's it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to reading your comments and checking your answers. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope you learnt more about using articles or no articles, and you feel more confident. I will see you in the next video. Bye.